All right, so you're getting ready for a liquid waste treatment plant operator interview, huh? That's awesome. You're going to be right there on the front lines protecting the environment. We're diving deep into a career guide, A&D, an interview guide, both all about this job. Plus, we'll throw in some AI magic from RoleCatcher to give you a real edge.
It's a pretty fascinating field, lots of responsibility.
For sure.
We're going to walk you through some common interview questions, give you some strategies and insights so you can really nail those answers.
Perfect. First up, what made you interested in becoming a liquid waste treatment plant operator? Sounds simple enough, right?
It's a bit trickier than it sounds.
Oh, how so?
You got to remember the interviewer's looking for more than just, I need a job. They want to see that spark, a real interest in protecting the environment and all the ins and outs of waste management. Early in my career, I was working on a project to, revamp this treatment facility. It was using super outdated methods. But seeing how those changes actually impacted the local ecosystem, that's what really got me hooked.
Makes sense. It's about more than just the job itself, right?
You're right. So how do you turn that passion into a good answer?
Yeah, how do you?
Think about what parts of the job really click with you. Is it the problem solving, the hands-on work with equipment, or maybe the chance to make the world a little cleaner? Find that thing that really hooks you and then connect it to your own experiences. Did you always love taking things apart as a kid? Or volunteer for like an environmental group?
Oh, I like that.
Those little personal touches, they make your answers stand out.
Right, it's about you, not just any candidate.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to let your personality shine through. A genuine smile and a little bit of enthusiasm go a long way.
All right, makes sense. Question number 2. Describe your experience in handling hazardous waste. This one seems pretty straightforward.
It is, but there's a right and a wrong way to answer it.
Okay, good to know.
Honesty is key, obviously. Be specific about the types of waste you've dealt with, the safety rules you followed, and any certifications you have, like a ZOOPER. That's one thing that really stood out to me in the career guide.
Oh yeah, the certifications.
Yeah, they become really important as you move up in your career.
Gotcha. But what if someone's never actually handled hazardous waste?
Then you got to focus on what skills you do have that could apply. Maybe you worked in a lab with chemicals or had to follow strict procedures in another job. The key is to show them you understand safety and that you're ready to learn the specifics of liquid waste treatment.
So it's all about emphasizing that commitment to safety and showing you're a quick learner.
Exactly. You can even mention specific things you're doing to prepare, like studying regulations or taking online courses.
Oh, that's a good idea. It shows you're already thinking ahead. All right, question 3 is where things get a little more technical. How do you handle equipment malfunctions or breakdowns?
This is a classic behavioral question. They want to see how you solve problems and how you stay calm when things go wrong. The STAR method's your best friend here. Situation, task, action, result.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. So first, describe a specific time when some equipment went haywire. What was going on? What kind of equipment was it? Then explain what needed to be done. What was your job in that situation?
So you're setting the scene for them.
Exactly. Then comes the action. What steps did you take to figure out the problem? Did you check the manuals? Use any diagnostic tools? Work with other people? Be detailed here. They want to see how you think.
Okay, and then the R, right? Result.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened because of what you did? Did you fix it? What did you learn? It's great if things turned out well, but even if you didn't completely fix the problem, you can still talk about what you learned or what skills you developed.
Makes sense. And I remember the career guide mentioned that problem solving is super important in this field, right?
It's one of the most sought after skills, absolutely. So make sure to really showcase your abilities here.
Got it. So it's not just about fixing the thing, but showing you can think critically and adapt to those tough situations.
Right on. Question 4 moves into something really crucial for this role. How do you ensure compliance with environmental regulations and guidelines?
I bet that's a big deal. Lots at stake.
Huge. Compliance is non-negotiable. We're talking about protecting people and the environment. Interviewers got to see that you get that responsibility and that, the regulations inside and out.
So how do you go beyond just saying, I follow the rules?
Go deep. Show them you understand the specific regulations and guidelines for liquid waste treatment.
Yeah.
You could even mention the EPA or specific regulations.
Okay, yeah.
The career guide suggested things like subscribing to industry magazines or joining professional groups to stay up to date. That's something you can weave into your answer too.
Oh, smart. Shows you're really dedicated.
Exactly. And you can even tie it back to that first question. Maybe your passion for the environment led you to those resources. It all connects.
Nice. Love it. Okay, let's tackle a question that's going to test your technical knowledge. What is your experience with wastewater treatment processes?
All right, here's where you show off your understanding of the different stages involved, from the very beginning to the final disinfection. If you've worked with specific processes that are mentioned in the career guide, like activated sludge or membrane bioreactors, definitely mention those.
Okay, so let's say they ask about a process you've never heard of. What then?
Don't try to fake it.
Right.
Just be honest. Say something like, I'm not familiar with that specific process, but I'm a quick learner. Can you tell me a bit about how you use it here? Shows genuine interest and that you're not afraid to ask questions.
Perfect. Turn a potential weakness into a strength, showing them you're curious and always learning.
Exactly. Interviews are a conversation, not a test.
Love that. Okay, before we jump into the rest of the questions, let's take a little detour and explore the career insights and the RoleCatcher guide.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Understanding the typical career path for this job can be really helpful during an interview. Shows you're thinking ahead, you're invested in the field.
The guide walks through the usual progression: entry level, junior operator, senior operator, even supervisory roles.
And it emphasizes that continuous learning thing again.
Ah, yeah.
Certifications like HACCP and the water treatment operator certification, those are really important for moving up. And, speaking of certifications, RoleCatcher has this cool feature where it can look at job descriptions and pinpoint the exact skills and certifications employers want. You can then tweak your resume to highlight those things.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a personal guide to help you stand out.
Totally. And their AI can even give you feedback on your interview answers to make sure you're hitting the right points.
Awesome. All right, let's get back to those interview questions. Question 6. How do you prioritize tasks in a fast-paced environment? That's a good one.
It is. This is about showing off your time management and organizational skills. The work environment section in the career guide talks about handling multiple things at once and adapting to changing situations. Think of a time when you successfully juggled a bunch of priorities. Like, maybe you had to troubleshoot a piece of equipment while also monitoring water quality and writing reports all at the same time.
Yikes, that's a lot.
Right, so it's important to have a clear example ready to go. Walk them through it, explain how you decided what to do first, and highlight the positive results.
Got it. Question 7 focuses on your experience with actually operating and maintaining equipment in a treatment plant.
Yeah, another chance to show off that technical knowledge and hands-on experience. If you can talk about specific equipment from the career guide, even better.
Awesome. All right. Question 8. How do you ensure safety in the workplace?
Safety is absolutely essential in this job, no question about it. This is your time to highlight your commitment to following those safety rules. Mention specific PPC, procedures, any safety training you've had. And, you can use RoleCatcher's AI here too. It can analyze the job description and pick out specific safety keywords that'll probably resonate with the interviewer.
That's really helpful. It's like having an inside track.
Exactly. It helps you customize your answers to each specific job you apply for.
Love it. Okay, on to question 9. How do you ensure that the liquid waste treatment plant operates efficiently? This one seems like it needs both technical knowledge and problem-solving skills.
You got it. The interviewer wants to see that you're not just an operator, but someone who's always looking for ways to make things better. Have you ever spotted an inefficiency and then found a way to fix it? Or use data to track how things are working and make adjustments?
Those are great examples. Having a specific story to tell really helps.
It totally does. And last but not least, question 10. What is your approach to training and mentoring new employees?
This one seems like it's about your leadership and communication skills, which are super important in any team environment.
You're right. The interviewer wants to know if you can effectively teach, build teamwork, and create a good learning environment.
What kind of experience should people highlight here?
It could be formal mentorship, like training someone new on a specific procedure, or maybe more casual, like helping a coworker figure something out. The key is to show that you're patient, you can explain things clearly, and you're passionate about helping others succeed.
Gotcha. So even if you haven't been a formal trainer, you can still talk about how you share knowledge and work with others.
Exactly. Think about times when you've helped someone learn or grow and frame those experiences in a way that shows your leadership potential. RoleCatcher's AI can help here too. It can find those leadership keywords in the job description that'll really impress the interviewer.
That's awesome. Okay, we've covered 10 common interview questions and explored how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge. Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on one more thing that's super important: Confidence.
Oh yeah, confidence is key.
It shows the interviewer that you believe in yourself and what you can do. But how do you build that confidence, especially if you're feeling a little nervous?
Well, I think preparation is the foundation of confidence. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll be talking about your experience and answering questions.
Right, practice makes perfect.
And that's where RoleCatcher comes in again. Their AI tools don't just help you tailor your answers, but also let you practice saying them out loud and get feedback.
It's like having a virtual coach right there with you.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of positive self-talk. Remind yourself of what you've accomplished, the skills you have, and your passion for this field.
Great advice. Okay, we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
Remember, an interview is a two-way street. It's not just about proving yourself to them. It's also about figuring out if this company and this job are the right fit for you. So, go in there prepared, confident, and ready to have a real conversation. And stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into those interview questions and explore more career insights.
You know, it's funny, we spend so much time talking about the technical side of this job, but those soft skills like communication and leadership, those are just as important, especially as you move up.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're not just working with machines and chemicals, you're working with people too.
Right. And that's something we can explore more as we go back through those interview questions. Let's think about some follow-up questions the interviewer might throw your way. Let's rewind back to that first one about what got you interested in the field.
Okay, what made you interested in becoming a liquid waste treatment plant operator? I could see how that question could lead to a bigger conversation.
For sure. After you tell your initial story, they might want to dig a little deeper into why you're motivated to do this work. They might ask, what environmental issues are you most passionate about? Or what part of waste management do you find the most challenging and why?
Makes sense. They want to see you've thought about the bigger picture, not just the day-to-day tasks.
Exactly. They want to know you get the impact of this work, on public health, the environment, the whole community. Now, for question 2, describe your experience in handling hazardous waste. What if someone doesn't have a lot of experience there? Those follow-ups could be tough.
Yeah, I could see that.
They can be, but you can be ready for them. The interviewer might ask, what steps would you take to handle a new kind of hazardous waste safely? Or how would you learn about the specific types of waste we deal with here?
Right. They want to see how willing you are to learn and how committed you are to safety.
Exactly. Here's where you can talk about any training you've had, even if it's not about hazardous waste specifically. Like, if you've done OSHA safety training or worked in a lab with strict rules, that shows you have a good foundation.
It's about being adaptable, right?
Right. Now, question 3, how do you handle equipment malfunctions or breakdowns? That one's all about problem solving. We talked about the STAR method, but what specifics should people focus on? What are those interviewers really listening for?
Yeah. How do you make those answers stand out?
Well, think about the details of the situation you're describing. What exactly went wrong? What tools did you use to diagnose the problem? Did you check the manuals, talk to a senior operator? Those details show your technical knowledge and that you know how to follow procedures.
Don't forget about the R, the result.
Right. They want to know what happened because of the steps you took. Did you fix it? Did you figure out the root cause? Even if you didn't totally fix it, explaining how you kept things from getting worse shows you take initiative and you're responsible.
So it's not just about fixing the problem, but showing how you think and how committed you are to finding solutions.
Exactly. Now, question 4, how do you ensure compliance with environmental regulations and guidelines? That one might lead to some deeper follow-ups about specific regulations.
Oh, like testing your knowledge of the Clean Water Act or something like that.
Exactly. They could ask, what are the main parts of the Clean Water Act that apply to our facility? Or how would you keep up with changes in environmental regulations?
So you got to know more than just, I follow the rules. You got to really understand those rules and be committed to staying up to date.
Absolutely. This is where those industry publications and professional groups we mentioned come in handy. Being able to talk about specific resources shows you're proactive and dedicated.
And it connects back to that career progression thing, right?
Right. Always be learning. That's key for moving up in this field. RoleCatcher actually has a feature that analyzes job descriptions and figures out which certifications and training programs employers really want. It's a great way to stay ahead of the game.
That's super helpful. Okay, on to question 5. What is your experience with wastewater treatment processes? Feels like this is where they could really grill you on the technical stuff.
Yeah, you're right. They might ask about specific processes like activated sludge, trickling filters, membrane bioreactors. You got to be comfortable with the different stages of treatment and be able to explain the basics.
Okay, what if they ask about a process you've never even heard of? Should you try to BS your way through it?
No way. Honesty is the best policy. Just say something like, I'm not familiar with that particular process, but I'm eager to learn more. Can you tell me a bit about how it's used at your facility?
It shows you're genuinely interested and that you're not afraid to ask questions.
That's a smart way to handle it. Keeps the conversation going, which is always a good thing.
It is. Now, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about RoleCatcher again. How can people use those AI features to prep for those last few interview questions?
Oh, that's a good question. It's not just about the resume, right? RoleCatcher can help you master the whole interview process. Exactly. Their AI can look at job descriptions and help you tailor your answers. Like for question 6, how do you prioritize tasks in a fast-paced environment? It might suggest using words like time management, organization, or adaptability in your response.
So you're not changing your story, just highlighting the parts that are most relevant to the job.
Exactly. You want to make sure your message is hitting the right notes.
And their interview practice feature takes it even further, right?
Yeah, you can record yourself answering practice questions, and the AI gives you feedback on how you sound, how clear you are, even your body language.
Like having a virtual coach in your pocket.
Exactly. Now, let's look at question 7. What is your experience with operating and maintaining equipment used in liquid waste treatment plants? This is where you can really shine when it comes to your technical skills.
Right. It's your chance to go beyond the basics and talk about specific types of equipment, how they work, how to keep them running smoothly.
Exactly. They might ask about pumps, valves, screens, clarifiers, anything that's crucial to the treatment process. The more specific you can be, the better.
And this is another spot where RoleCatcher can help, right?
For sure. Their AI can scan the job description and pick out those specific pieces of equipment so you can tailor your answers.
It's all about making those connections, showing them you've got the knowledge and the experience.
Exactly. Now, question 8. How do you ensure safety in the workplace? That's always a big one, especially in a job like this where safety is so important.
You're telling me.
This question goes beyond just listing safety procedures. It's about showing that you understand safety protocols deeply and that you're truly committed to keeping yourself and your coworkers safe.
Okay, so what kind of specifics should people mention?
Well, think about the safety stuff that's specific to a treatment plant. Talk about personal protective equipment, gloves, respirators, safety glasses. Mention lockout procedures for when you're doing maintenance on equipment. Talk about hazard communication and understanding those safety data sheets.
And the career guide mentioned regular safety training and being prepared for emergencies.
Yes. Mentioning those things shows you're proactive about safety and that you're committed to building a culture of safety in the workplace. All right, moving on to question 9. How do you ensure that the liquid waste treatment plant operates efficiently? This feels like a good opportunity to talk about your problem-solving skills and how you think about making things better.
It does. They want to know you're not just going through the motions, but that you're actually trying to find ways to improve things and save money.
Right. Have you ever found a bottleneck in the process and come up with a solution to get things moving faster? Or maybe you set up a preventive maintenance program that kept equipment running longer.
Those are great examples. Having a real story to tell makes all the difference.
It really does. And last but not least, question 10. What is your approach to training and mentoring new employees? This is your chance to show off those leadership skills and your ability to create a good learning environment.
It's about more than just teaching the technical stuff, right? It's about creating a team where new people feel welcome and supported.
Absolutely. So how do you convey that in your answer? Think about times when you've been a mentor or a trainer. What did you do to explain complex ideas? How did you make people feel comfortable asking questions? Did you give them hands-on opportunities to learn? Those little details bring your answer to life.
Makes sense. And RoleCatcher's AI can help here too, right?
Definitely. It can find those leadership keywords in the job description that the interviewer is looking for. You can then weave those into your answers.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive. We revisited those 10 common interview questions, talked about potential follow-ups, and went over some strategies for giving awesome answers.
And we saw how RoleCatcher's AI tools can be a real game changer for interview prep. They give you those personalized insights and feedback that can really help you stand out. But there's one more important thing we need to talk about, and that's confidence.
Yes. We touched on this a little bit before, but it's so important it deserves its own deep dive. Confidence can make or break an interview, so how do we help our listeners build that confidence, especially if they're feeling nervous?
Well, preparation is key, like we talked about. But there are other things you can do to boost your confidence and make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Let's explore those strategies in the last part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle that last piece of the interview puzzle.
Yeah.
Confidence. It's one thing to know all the answers, but how do you really show them you've got this?
It's like they say, you gotta believe it yourself before anyone else will. Faking it till you make it can work sometimes, but true confidence comes from being prepared and knowing your own worth.
Right, so we've prepped for the questions, we've got RoleCatcher's AI helping us out. What else can we do to build that, unshakable confidence?
First, visualize success. Seriously, close your eyes and imagine walking into that room feeling calm and collected, answering questions clearly, maybe even cracking a joke or two.
Oh, I like that.
Studies actually show that visualization can help you perform better.
Wow, that's cool. It's like a mental pep talk.
Exactly. And remember, the interviewer wants you to succeed too. They saw something in your resume, they see your experience, that's why they called you in. So go in there ready to show off your skills and your passion.
Okay, feeling more confident already. But what if those nerves kick in during the interview? How do you stay calm under pressure?
Deep breaths. Those slow, deep breaths can really help slow your heart rate down and calm those nerves. And if you need a second to think, don't be afraid to pause and take a sip of water. It shows you're composed, you're thinking things through, not freaking out.
Right, sometimes we forget the simple things.
We do. And remember, the interviewer's a person too. Make eye contact, smile, have a conversation. This isn't an interrogation. It's a chance to connect and see if it's a good fit for both of you.
Speaking of good fit, let's touch on those career insights from the RoleCatcher Guide one last time. How can our listeners use that info to really impress the interviewer, not just answer the questions?
It's all about showing them you've done your homework and you're thinking long term. Imagine they ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, a 5-year plan question.
Right. But instead of giving some vague answer, you can use what you know about the career path to paint a clear, ambitious picture. You could say something like, I'm excited about the growth opportunities here. I'm really interested in getting my water treatment operator certification and maybe taking on more responsibility in process optimization or team leadership.
Wow, that's impressive. It shows you've got a plan. You're not just looking for any job, you're looking for a career.
Exactly. And it ties back to those certifications we talked about. Having a plan for your professional development, that shows commitment, that shows you take initiative.
Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, I got to give one last shout out to RoleCatcher. Their AI tools are a game changer for anyone getting ready for an interview. From fine-tuning your resume to practicing your answers and building your confidence.
I totally agree. It's like having your own personal career coach right there in your pocket, helping you every step of the way.
And the best part is, it's free. So head over to RoleCatcher.com and make an account. It's an investment in your future, and it could really pay off. So there you have it. Our deep dive into liquid waste treatment plant operator interview prep is complete. We tackled those tough questions, explored the career path, even got a little pep talk on confidence. But remember, the most important ingredient is you.
Right. Your passion, your knowledge, and your willingness to learn, those are the things that'll really shine through.
Exactly. Go in there prepared, confident, and ready to show them what you've got. We're rooting for you. Good luck.